Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Alima Fadhila Majid from Biology Class C. Today, I would like to present about the decline of the Spanish Islamic civilization. So, let's get started. First, I'm going to share about topics in this presentation. The first topic is history of the decline of Islamic civilization in Spain. Second, the timeline of the decline Islamic civilization in Spain. Third, factors of the decline of Islamic civilization in Spain. And the last topic is conclusion. Let's start with the first topic. The first topic is history of decline Islamic civilization in Spain. The decline of Islamic in Spain was marked by the emergence of muluk at-tawaif, or small states, in provincial areas that were free from central government. Abdul Malik, whose success is his father is Hajib al-Mansur, began to manage the state. During his reign, Muslim Spain remained a propitious country. Spain experienced superiority and success in crushing Christians who tried to carry out rebellion. But he only suffered for 6 years due to poisoning and died in 108 AD. The death of Abdul Malik was a destruction of the Umayyad state in Spain. Due to the vacant seat of the throne, it became a serious struggle in the palace. Finally, the government was led by Abdurrahman. Abdurrahman, he is Abdul Malik's brother. But during his reign, it was not successful. He had a depraved temperament and morals, so that's the reason he stopped down in palace. And Islamic power only lived in Granada area under the Dawla of Bani Ahmad. Next, I will move to next topic is the timeline of the decline of Islamic civilization. The last Umayyad Caliph was the third Hasim, who was protected by the Barbaros in 113 AD by the Conqueror and Minister of Cordoba. The post of Khalifa was abolished. In the period between 135 to 1492 AD, there were two Islamic kingdoms in Spain, namely the power of Murabitun Daulah and the Muwahhidun Daulah. But both of them could unite the power of Islam in Spain. Even in 1143 AD, the power of the Murabitun Daulah ended and replaced by the power of Muwahhidun Daulah. Next, in 1212 AD, Christian armies were able to defeat the Muwahhidun dynasty and caused them to have left Spain and returned to North Africa in 1235 AD. Islamic power only lived in Granada area under the Dawla of Bani Ahmad. At this time, Islamic civilization began to progress again, as during the reign of the third Abdurrahman. The last ruler of the Dawlah of Bani Ahmar was Abu Abdullah. He is no longer able to withstand the attack, and Christians are throwing continually. Islamic rules end in Spain in 1492 AD. The fate of Muslims after that was only faced with two choices: convert to Christianity or live in Spain. From this timeline, we know that in 113 AD, the last Umayyad Caliph was the third Qasim, who was protected by the Barbaros. Then, the 1143 AD, the power of Murabitun Daulah ended and replaced by the power of Muwahidun Daulah. The next, in 1212 AD, Christian armies were able to defeat the Muwahidun dynasty. At last, in 1492 AD, Islamic civilization ended in Spain. Let's move on to the third topic. The third topic is factors of the decline of Islamic civilization in Spain. The first factor is conflict between Muslims. Second, conflict with Christians. Third, economic crisis. Fourth, remote geographic location. Fifth, the absence of a unifying ideology. And last, unclear power chain system. The first factor is conflict between Muslims. Political division during the Muluk at-Tawaif period were the cause of the withdrawal of the Spanish Islamic government. Several small cities such as Malaga, Sevilla, Granada, and others tried to compete with Cordova, the capital of the Islam State. Cordova was the only center of government and central Islamic knowledge and civilization in Spain. This has both good and bad effect. The good impact is that it can be open up opportunities of the opening of new center civilization. Meanwhile, the bad impact is existence of conflict between fellow Islamic government. Next. The second factor is conflict with Christians. Spanish Muslim rules didn't nail Islamization perfectly. Worse, the presence of Spanish Islam has strengthened and sense of nationality of the Spanish Christian. When the Muslims were strong and made progress, Christians were silent and enjoyed the result. But when Christians made rapid progress in the field of science and technology and were strongly science the 11th century AD, Muslims were in decline. Even the Muslim were destroyed and cruelly expelled by the Christian from Spain. This fate is get worse with the arrival of the famine season and make the firms unable to pay tax. So that's the use of state finance is not controlled by the Muslim rules. Next, economic crisis. During his decline, Islamic rules was busy building cities and busy developing knowledge. In addition, they are also dealing with ongoing conflict between fellow Muslim and between Muslim and Christian. This has resulted in them neglecting and building the economy. Finally, the arose economy difficult, which were burdensome and affect the political military condition. Given the political turmoil, the Christians took advantage of this to fight the Muslim, and they were easily defeated. The next factor is remote geographic location. Spain is geographically remote from the rest of the Islamic world because Spain is in Europe while the Islam is in Asia and Africa. So the Spanish just fought alone. When Spain got an enemy attack for the north of Spain, if there was any, only help from North Africa. So when Muslims of Spain were hurt or fought by the Christians, the other Islamic countries could provide an alternative for their assistance. The next factor is the absence of unifying ideology. This happened until 10th century for treatment of Muslim rules, such as the political system implemented by the Umayyah again convert to come from the local community. From leaders street convert with the terms ibad and muwalladun, which means very demeaning, because they don't accept being treated as such. Christians often undermine and destroy peace. This also has a major impact on the socio-economic development of Spain. They define each other's right so that it is difficult to unite in the ideology, which means unity, coupled with the absence of unifying figure who can be used as the role model. And the last factor is unclear power change system. This factor occurs because of the struggle of royal power among the heirs. It was because of this factor that the Umayyads collapsed and Muluk at-Tawaif emerged. Granada, which was the last center of Islamic power, fell into the hands of Ferdinand and Isabel. And the last topic is conclusion. Before I close my presentation, I have a conclusion. And the conclusion is Islam only powered by in Granada under the Bani Ahmad dynasty. Because all of Spain had been recaptured by Christian force, and great advancement in civilization collapsed after the dynasty, and rule only in this small area was enabled to prevent the power struggle among these princes. Abdullah Muhammad, who felt excluded because he was not given the authority to replace his parent as Amir in Granada. Amir in Granada finally rebelled. After his father was killed, power passed to Muhammad bin Sa'ad. Abu Abdullah then asked Ferdinand and Isabel for help him. They succeeded in defeating the rightful rulers and making Abu Abdullah ascend the throne. When the two kings unit of seized the last Muslim power in Granada, Abu Abdullah was unable to withstand the attacks in 1492 AD. This defeat led him to migrate to North Africa and thus end Islamic rule in Spain. And one of the factors of led to this line of Islamic civilization, namely conflict among Muslims, conflict with Christian, conflict economic difficulties, geographical location, the absence of a unifying ideology, and unclear system of power transfer of power chains. Although Islam was finally cruelly expelled from Spain, it has nurtured important movement in Europe. These movements are the revival of classical Greek culture in the 14th century AD, which started in Italy. The reform movement in the 16th century AD and rationalism in the 17th century AD and Enlightenment are Aufklärung in the 18th century AD. Any question? If you have any question, you can write in the comment column. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's all my presentation today. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. I hope my presentation will be useful for you. See you in the next video. Shukran. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.